Ouais, juste pour une courte présentation, very short presentation of our speaker today. Her name is Perla D. Mbeya. The AM is silent, right?
No, I haven't been told otherwise yet. So
Okay.
we pronounced the M.
Alors,
Yes.
c'est la fille de Perrette, notre fille à nous. She's Perrette's daughter, our daughter as well. Um, I will let her the possibility to say more about her, but we just want to welcome her and may the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, take control of everything that you have to share with us, Perla. So you will start. But just before I can tell to everybody, we're gonna let her do her presentation for the first part. And if you have any questions, we can hold them at the end. We can type them, and I will be the one in charge, if I may say, the host, and I will, one after the other, entertain the questions, and hopefully everybody here will have a good time. So, Perla, you have the mic.
Hello. Hi, testing. Hello, good evening. Bonsoir. Bon après-midi. Well, no, that's afternoon. Anyway, well, I'm glad to be here. I just want to give you guys a fair warning. The slides or the presentation might be a bit information heavy, but I'll do my best to kind of um, surmise it so that we can attain it and understand it a little bit more. And if there are any questions, don't hesitate to write them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer as best as I can. Let me see. Please bear with me. I'm going to start my presentation, but I need to. Please let me know if you're able to see. Are you guys able to see clearly my presentation?
Not yet. We cannot say anything yet.
Oh, I didn't share my screen. Okay. How about now?
No.
No?
Mm.
Oh, now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Okay. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to talk to you guys about architecture. I'll try not to nerd out too much because this is my profession and I am an architect. I live here in Maryland with my husband. Um, you want to get used to saying that. I'm new. I'm a newlywed, for those of you who don't know. But today, what I'm going to do and what I do desire to do in my profession is just, educate and share what I've learned in the field so far. Because I don't think architecture is specifically just for design professionals. It's for everyone who lives day to day, who has a place called home or who's seeking shelter. So, just as a disclaimer, this is solely subjective, so this is all from personal experience. So it's not intended to be professional or technical or legal advice, but I will do the best that I can to share my thoughts and my opinions about certain things as we move forward in this presentation. As I mentioned earlier, to me, architecture is not just about creating buildings, but it's also about creating spaces. And so, what I've learned so far in my career is that when you design a space, you can help foster safety, form memories, and have meaningful experiences within those spaces. So, personally, I do believe that this presentation is not just for people interested in architecture professionally, but for everyone who desires to have a place called home. And so my presentation could be applicable to college students who want to just spruce up their room, their dorm room, or renters of, like me. I'm on that level here. Renters who are looking to spruce things up or change things a little bit in their space, in their apartment
Sorry,
space.
Perla.
Um,
Perla, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I should have said that before. If you would allow me to interpret for uh
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
so every so often you can stop and then I'll, interpret for the the Haitian community. I'm sure many
Yes.
understand, but just in case.
Understood.
Sure,
Understood.
sure.
Do you want to translate now, or do you want me to wrap up with the slide first?
I can just say briefly what you just said earlier.
Okay.
Mwen a fon prezentasyon la, e map jist fè nou konen, se pa ke mba fè a titre de, pou mwen di nou men ki sa e, men se jist informasyon ke m'a prezente anseman avek nou sur l'architecture. Se pa ke, se jist informasyon ke m'a partaj anseman avek nou, sa ke mwen kouè. Moi-même que architecture, c'est pas seulement, comme nous tous connaissons qui c'est architecture, c'est pas créer ou bien bâti, mais c'est surtout c'est créer une atmosphère ou bien un environnement qui est sûr, qui est en sécurité et pour un espace côté nous créer, faire mémoire, et puis côté nous qu'à vivre, littéralement, fonctionner pour nous qu'à faire des expériences qui très bien. Moi, à faire présentation ça pour, pas forcément pour un monde qui voulait, pour l'autre mot créole, là, qui n'a dit pour nous aller là, c'est ingénieur, ingénieur, architecture, mais c'est surtout, quel que soit le monde, que c'est un monde qui a déjà, que c'est un monde qui l'a loyer, ou bien moun ki pou la cheka, ou bien n'importe étudiant qui dans collège qui te ka profiter de information ça que moi pour partager avec nous-mêmes.
Thank you. Um, so where I'm going to start is for like college students or people who are currently living in apartments who don't really necessarily own their space just quite yet. So, depending on where you're in your life, the idea of making a space your home can be achievable. So, we're going to talk about creative ways on how to customize your apartment or your dorm to your style. But first, things to consider, and this is all from lessons learned as I am, again, in that phase in life currently. Certain things you want to consider is your budget, in terms of how much you're willing to spend for utilities or just with rent or anything other or any additional things that you'd like to consider when living in your apartment space. Location, how far you are from work, how close you are from your church or other communities that are meaningful to you. Amenities, what shops are around, what grocery stores are around, libraries, stuff like that, or hospitals as well. And transportation. For me, I do not have a car personally just yet, so finding a place that was really close to the metro so that I can go to work and come back, or even go visit my sister if needed and come back was easily accessible.
Ça, moi, t'avais partagé ensemble avec nous, c'est moun qui poko achete kay, que kay la poko yo pou yo, par exemple, un petit moun qui est en collège, toujours, ou bien moun qui a ploué, d'essayer de barrer pour nous te ka considérer. Par exemple, combien kob nou gen, qui budget nous? Et ensuite, qui location, côté nous pas l'habiter par rapport à ça que nous intéressé, l'église nous, le travail nous, ou bien famille nous, amis nous, qui distance que côté nous pas l'habiter par rapport à eux-mêmes. Ensuite, qui ça qui est dans la zone là? Est-ce que gagne boutique? Qui prêt? Est-ce que gagne tout ça que nous intéressé, qui distance yo, transportation. Bon, Perla partage ensemble avec nous qu'on y a, par exemple, les beaucoup de machines. Ça veut dire que transportation sont gros issus que le TK présenté. C'est ça que fait d'avant, il considère habiter au côté pour la garde de transportation. Comment on a fait ça? Est-ce que la possibilité pour pas aller famille, pour aller seul? Est-ce que tout ça a été entré en ligne de compte avant que nous TK considéré louer un espace pour nous habiter?
Now, once you actually have your space and you're ready to customize, there are a few things that you want to keep in mind. You want to think of the color themes of your space. You want to think of the furniture pieces, the accessories, or just things in general that can activate the senses. So when you think about these things, it can definitely set the mood and set the ambiance of your space and give it some character. And so the next slide, you'll see some images of, oops, sorry.
Ok. Juste avant que nous, qu'on y a nous film considéré qui côté nous va l'habiter tout ça, mais le nous film qui veut l'en côté, nous avons un espace qui vide, très vide, qu'on a conceptualisé qui couleur que nous va le peinturer mur, qui le nous va lâcher meubles, côté qui type de meubles que nous va lâcher, qui côté nous va disposer, ou comment nous va disposer, ou tant que petit accent, tant que petit shelbe, côté nous va mettre petit shelbe, ça. Ensuite, faut nous juste faire espace, côté nous va l'habiter, hein. Ça devrait les cailles nous-mêmes, côté nous, qu'on atmosphère, que nous sentons que nous sommes très à l'aise.
Shelve, I like that word. What's that mean? Sorry, that's another what's the off topic. But yeah, so here are a few images of before and after apartments. The image on the left, you can see it's a bit of a bare room, but once they started to incorporate furniture and color accent pieces, you can see by the throw blanket here, some of the pillows that vary in color. There's definitely a template that the person in that space was trying to incorporate, and they did it well. Also, the same approach could be applied to outdoor decks. You know, a very basic balcony can then be transformed into a bit more livable or usable space that you feel more comfortable in. Same for those who are in apartments but aren't necessarily in a unit itself, but maybe like in a basement or something. Depending on your lease, and that's a disclaimer because some leases you have certain limitations on what you can do in your space, but depending on your lease, you can definitely do small things like, and I think furniture is the real driving force for people who are renting. Furniture could definitely spruce up your space and give it a lot more character than what it was formerly before you moved
Par exemple, si nous regardons là, il y a 6 photos, OK? Sur partie gauche là, nous avons un espace qui est vide. Et en bas, nous voyons genre monde qui loue appartement, disposé et canapé en couleur yo, petits oreillers yo, petit table genre que yo bien disposé ou ouais différence un tableau qui parle en l'air tout bagage nous ouais que différence hein. Si nous regardons la photo on est à petit balcon hein, nous ouais la partie à gauche là comment lié bon c'est juste des petites chaises avec table mais là à partie droite là il y a des petites fleurs, des petits arrangements que mon a ajouté qui fait toute différence là, et tout comme par en bas. Bien entendu, par en bas, c'est face à petit, mais tout dépend de côté nous habiter, hein, le nous si bas ferme nan, qui accès qui ça nous qui changement que nous avons fait, nous avons par en bas, Jean moun nan, Jean que moun a fait disposition et toute bagay qui la deuxième image yo très très attrayant comparativement à premier yo.
So moving on to those who actually are blessed with having a home right now and who can actually do more than just use furniture to spruce up your space, we're going to shift over into interior improvements. So when you have an actual space that you're willing to transform, typically what I would probably think of is how do I want the space to feel when I come home? What's the first thing I want people to think about when they visit my space? And how do I want to flow between spaces? And so some interior improvement examples include considering light, airflow, and the layout of your space. Um, I know most of us on this call are Haitians, so I think you all will understand when I say we like to keep things a lot, store things a lot, okay? And that's not a bad thing per se, unless you're a hoarder. But if you know you have a lot of things, think about where it is you need extra storage and where that storage could be. And if you like to have large gatherings, if your family is as large as mine or even larger, think about spaces that could be transformed for multiple uses, where it could be both gathering space and also private spaces. Last but not least, right now, especially for older homes, there is a strong push for energy efficiency. So older homes would definitely benefit with upgrading any windows, installations, or even your HVAC system, which we'll get into a little later in our presentation.
Qu'on y a en entrée, si n'importe quel dans le même. Nous t'avons aimé que le n'importe la caille, nous, le nous rentre nous senti que on atmosphère de maison, nous c'est la caille nous que lié. Et grand pile, gens nous fait bagaille qui a permettre que nous gagne un feeling, ça par exemple, lumière, comment gens lumière disposée, gens que yo yé, en Perla voye sous nous, fait nous connaître que de même haïtien nous, mais kembe tout petit bout de marmite qui gagne. C'est pas nécessairement. On m'a fait bagay, mais nous, si nous keme tout ti bout mamit sa yo, an gade ki kote nou ka dispose. Kote pou nou sere yo, paske yo pa oblige, le ou moun rentre pou yo tout ti pil, ti mamit yo, monte pil sou pil kon sa. Ensuite, gen kesyon enerji. Ki yon go baray koun ya ki a pale, kote ke ansyen mezon ti an pi difisil, jan ke te konstwi, me si nou ka konsidere pou nou ka konserve enerji, gen paket, la da pale la vin sou sa tale kon sa, men gen paket fason pou nou ka konserve enerji, petet insulasyon fenet yo, te ka chanje, e pot yo, e sistem HVAC, sistem nan, sistem, bon, mli, komon di HVAC, oui, men zami, drain, pour drain, tout ba ça, yo,
Mhm.
nous ka considérer tout pendant que comment nous te ka améliorer système ça yo, pour nous te ka gen plus, pour nous ka conserver énergie.
So here is another example that I'd like to show you. The space might look familiar to some folks. So on the top image, this was formerly the kitchen at my parents' house. And before I moved in, I was like, parents, let's think, let's discuss. Huh? Let's see if we can transform this, for lack of a better term. And so I know my mom and Shirley and my dad could attest to this, that we went through some ideas, found some images online, saw what we liked and didn't like, and we renovated the space for the both the bathroom and the kitchen. And so in the kitchen, you can definitely see how color plays a large role in your space. So we went from concrete, sorry, laminated countertops to solid surface countertops. And nothing in the layout per se changed, but just by keeping things or the systems where it was with the oven, the microwave, the sink here, and there was a floating counter on this side too, but we just changed it. It definitely gave a dramatic change and feel of that space. Same goes for the bathroom. We went from a pretty dated bathroom to a lot more modern or contemporary bathroom. You can see that we changed the tile. We took out the old cabinets, put in a bit more of a modern style storage cabinet or shelf, sorry, storage shelf in the bathroom. But also, color was really, really important because we knew we weren't going to do a dramatic change of the space, but we also knew that we wanted it to be upgraded, new, and a lot more livable than it was before.
Ok, si n gade foto sa, nap gade la, an pi moun rekonnet li, peut-être, Pierrette ka rekonnet li pi bien que nous même, nap gade foun wè chanjman ki te fet yo. Nou wè la cuisine, cuisine se premier image là. Côté que nous couleur, Jean couleur a fait un grand changement avec lumière yo tout. La première nous est un petit genre plus noir, dark et la deuxième nous fera disons l'autre caille, tout à fait. Mais c'est même espace là, c'est juste nous juste rénovation qui vient faire changement comme ça. Couleur yo changé couleur de marron à une couleur qui me dit crème ou beige. Ensuite, on sait de changement de disposition, microwave là, tout ça, qui fait, et puis, mais c'est son travail extraordinaire. Et la toilette, surtout, si nous regardons la deuxième partie, hein, définitivement plus moderne, plus, inviting, I would say. Et puis, côté, regarder la table, là, tout côté pour nous, les différemment, tu as un cabinet qui était en l'air, en bois, la première partie qui changeait, et puis, regardez, j'ai un bel petit shelbe sous côté, en argent, tu comprends, un bel petit bail, bien sûr, oui. Ça veut dire que nous connaissons l'un besoin de rénover quand nous, même tout font réclame là, nous connaissons côté pour venir, c'est Perla lié.
Mercy. Oh, but thank you, thank you. Shelve was mentioned
Yeah.
again. What is it? What does shelve mean?
Well, so temporary, you just, just out there, just fancy, sexy at
Yeah.
times. So,
Okay.
you shall be.
We
Yes.
love that. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah.
I learned a new word today. So if we wanted to do things outside of the interior, we want to look outside of our house. You can think about looking at changing your siding to your house. If you have material that able to do that. You could also paint if you needed to paint over, depending on the type of exterior material you have there. You could also look at updating your landscape, changing whatever it is that you have in your yard into something a bit more inviting and sociable if you like to have people around and want to do bonfires and stuff like that. Um, so these are just a few examples of exterior improvements that you can do in your house, where before there was a bit more of a lime green exterior here, and the owners wanted to change it up and bring it a bit more into modern day time. So we transformed it, and they chose this color, which I thought was a really nice color to have, and it definitely just by changing the color of the siding, you could just, it seems like a new place, but it's really just the same house in a different color. Same for this image here found on the internet. They had shrubs in their front yard. They called a landscaper and they were able to create this very nice and inviting front yard for their house.
Tout comme non seulement en dedans caille là, nous qu'a fait des changements, mais dehors tout, des séries de changements que nous qu'a fait qui drastiquement fait qu'à la une nouvelle maison. On a regardé là, par exemple, là, nous qu'a peinturé dehors fenêtre et puis changer sous côté bordure caillou, juste un petit bac qu'on a ajouté si nous fait et roof là, tout bagage ça a changé qu'à la on regarde deux photos ça. La première pratiquement, il semblait deux cailles qui différents, mais première, c'est couleur qui changeait, donc couleur verdâtre, deuxième, dans les plus ou moins, qu'a dit crème, marron, pas fait trop bon à couleur, bon, à peu près couleur ça. Ensuite, fenêtre, yo, genre que fenêtre, yo vin faire, ils font l'autre caille. Amen, wap gade, wap gade fò la di son caille qui peut-être l'année 1800 yo, et ça peut-être en année l'année 2000 yo. Ce nous est différent. Tout comme par en bas, côté, n'a regardé dans le landscape, là, le premier paquet, on le rage, petit rage ça yo, qui retiré et puis juste fait gazon plate, qui juste fait câlin, vient tout à fait changer, et puis une nouvelle maison.
Excuse me. I know, like with updating your home, you could also consider, for those of us who are either caring for the elderly or wanting to change the layout of your house to be a bit more accessible and to create longevity, you could also consider ways to improve the universal or accessibility to your house. So you could install a ramp. It's not necessarily new, but there's something called accessory dwelling units, which is basically another unit on your lot, on your home lot. And so it would have all the basic necessities that a unit will have, or an apartment, for example, but it could either be incorporated into your house as an addition or in your basement, or like a granny flat in your backyard. So that's what a accessory dwelling unit ADU is. But all in all, small upgrades, especially for those who want to be a bit more sensitive to the elderly population, can go a long way.
On dit que ça nous soit nous-mêmes qui gen parents qui âgés qui mobilité anti-gens limitée ou bien kage ti moun de nou ti moun qui besoin aide la mobilité li nous ka arranger ça ça relé pour peut-être la même caille là ou bien dans sous-sol là ou bien dans même si nous espace nous ka faire une habitation qui est accessible pour eux-mêmes par exemple l'image ça n'a regardé nous gen on rampe côté que si mon par exemple mon chaise roulante ou bien la marcher avec avec une aide, l'ICA a accès. pour le Kailan ensemble avec rampe ça.
So this slide is just showing you, I guess, a bit more in detail on what we can do. So these showers right here are accessible showers for like wheelchairs. And so if you're like if right now you have a tub and it really doesn't work for you or the person you care for, a shower like this would definitely be beneficial so that they'll be able to access, they have their shower seat and grab bars here for safety. Um, up the image on the top left is just examples of accessory dwelling units where you could have it in your backyard or attached to your house or in your basement. So and in the image lastly, the image down here on the top of the bottom right is just a way that you can be a bit more crafty in how you build a ramp. It doesn't necessarily have to be your modular ramp, but you can definitely incorporate it into your front porch, so that it can fit a lot more. Um, Esther, do you want me to pause here or do I
Yes,
show another image?
non,
Oh,
yes, yes.
okay.
Si nou ka gade l'imaj ki devan nou an, nou we ke posibilite jan ke nou se tap diyan, si nou te ka amenaje espas nou an pou te ka fe li aksesible a yon moun ki gen difficulté pour marcher ou moun qui âgé et tout, gen moun yo attaché on parti la caillou la maison mère là, gen qui mette sous côté et gen c'est l'investissement là que lié. Nous avons un exemple à tout côté la toilette, côté que la toilette ça qui accessible, qui large assez pour moun qui a difficulté de kachita, non seulement kachita mais yo ka permettre que on chaise ou l'autre rentrer pou moun ka ge akse pou le chita la toalet la. E la imaj sou kote yo ki yon ti jan pi extensive, kote nou e gon ramp, kote ge ti eskalyo pou monte, me ge ramp la ki si moun nan soti, kote la ap soti pou ka monte, swa lon chèz ou lot ou bi avek on walker pou ka rentre la mezon.
This is another example on a project I worked on. So the client really wanted their bathroom to be next to their master bedroom. And so the picture on the left is what was before. The picture on the right was a rendition or an option of what they can do. And so as you can see, the journey from this bedroom here to that bathroom here is quite significant, or it's different than just leaving your bedroom and entering your bathroom, off your master bedroom.
Men
And
nou ap
and this
gade.
and this would be a rolling shower too. Sorry.
Mhm. Nap gade yon schema la ke kote avan, kote kliyan, si nam gade kote toalet lan te par rapport a chanm nan, son boti distans ke liye. Men kliyan ta prefere ke toalet lan aksesible a chanm ni. Se sa fe ke la deuxième imaj nan wè ke kote toalet lan ye par rapport a chanm nan, koman ke li vini e ke li te ka plus aksesible. Tout sa se de bagay ke nou ka konsidere au besoin pour des changements qui pour fait que en ce moment ma faute réclame toujours que contacter Perla qui t'a qu'à aider nous à achever ça.
Oh man. So for people who are like looking for a new home, they don't know where to start. And you're walking into a house and you're trying to figure out what is it I need to look out for. Look at these three things. You want to look at the structure and the system of the house. So if there's any cracks that look a bit concerning, you want to keep that in mind. You want to see what type of system that the house has. Like if it's a dated heating system, or do they have central heating, or is it all just the radiant furnaces that you see sometimes in older house? You want to take that into consideration. Um, Additionally, you want to look at if there's any signs of rushed or poor construction. And you can kind of tell when something's rushed if like there's paint touching the window or the paint touching the trim work, or if the trim of the house, like the molding around your ceiling doesn't really connect. So stuff like that. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you are new, like if you're in the market looking for a new place to live, just keep an eye on that because it's really going to be on your plate to deal with at the end of the day if you decide to go with that house.
Men deux, trois conseils, indices que moi t'a bay au monde qui pour la chonka pour nous te ka veiller. Par exemple, nous gade fondation ka lan. Si nous gade, par exemple, nous de couleurs différentes ou bien nous on ba yo patchel, yo mettons gon morceau ciment là qui pas même couleur avec l'autre morceau ciment ou bien souhaiter on fissure quelque part en l'air ou bien système plombing nan. Bon, bien entendu, n'ta vraiment posé une question sur ça, tout peur là. Ensuite, si nous était que n'importe quoi que nous penser qui t'a un petit gens inquiété nous tu jusqu'à stopper, poser question parce que à la fin des fins, c'est peut-être un problème que nous gagnons pour nous qu'à solutionner. C'est pas la fin du monde lié, c'est vrai, mais il est bon que nous t'es qu'à juste questionner. Can I ask a question now as you're saying that about
Yeah. Hmm.
now? Genre de bagay sa yo, avan on moun achete kay, m'pense ke yo genye kontra e yo genye inspekteur ki vini, ki pou inspekte kay lan,
Yep.
e yo genye
Right.
yon, mbliye jan yon moun sa yo, ki vini ko peyon kob ke moun kap achete kay lan peye pou yo ka jist gade de tet kay lan jiska fondasyon,
Mm.
kone si tout bagay ok. Now, m'assumer que nous-mêmes qui pour la chonka, nous pas qu'on rien de ça. Nous jouons belle devanture et puis nous prenons comment ou te ka yon moun qui pas qu'on rien du tout, nous connaît que nous avons l'argent à un monde professionnel qui pour faire ça, comment que nous ka, si professionnel par exemple t'as dit n'importe ça que le voulait, comment nous te ka
Mm.
détecter si on a un problème vraiment.
So a home inspector would be your number one place, and I'm actually going to talk about that
OK.
as we go on in the presentation. But your home inspector would be your number one person because their job is to make sure your house is a livable space for you to move
Mhm.
in, and you want to get that done before you even sign the contract.
Mhm.
So your home inspector would probably be the number one place to start.
Mhm.
I'm not sure of the other person that comes in and inspects the top ceiling, but anyone who's a professional and who you trust is able to give you honest feedback of your house. That's a really good place to start in terms of having someone look at your space if you don't know what you're looking for
OK.
or looking at, you know.
Mhm.
Um, let me see. Um, Oh, so
OK.
going, the next part of what homeowners or home buyers should consider is form and function. So the flow of the space right now, do you like it? Do you not like it? What potential do you see? Room size, proportions, and again, storage or any future adaptability that the space can potentially have is also something to keep in mind.
Yon nan bagay pou nou, ki ta suppose on entere pou nou, le nan pral pou un kay, achon kay, se kay lan li men, an dedan, ki go se kay la, eske ki go se cham yo, eske, bon, asume ke moun ki bagay timoun, eske timoun yo, si nan fe 8 timoun, eske espas nan ap sufi, pou 8 timoun, tout bagay sa ta suppose lan tet nou tou, avan ke nou ape acheton kay.
Last but not least, you want to kind of zoom out a little bit more. So you're a new homeowner. What's around? What's the neighborhood like? Is how are the crime rates? Where are my local schools, hospitals, libraries? For those of us who are blessed to find new land, new plot of land, and build from scratch, this is when you would typically hire an architect. But if you don't, you want to consider what type of like where do I want to place my house? Like, do I want it in a like nature surrounded by woods, or like do I want it to be part of a community that's already being built, like a new community? So stuff like that. Other things to consider, um, flooding. So that at least from what I've seen here in the DMV area, flooding is something that happens, especially in Alexandria. And so I'm not too knowledgeable in this, but I do know when you're getting a house at a area that is prone to flooding, you want to also make sure you have flood insurance just to cover you, just in case there is any damage to your house. Last but not least, community. Who's around? Do you know anyone around there? Is it easy to make community there? Are you networking, etc.? So friends, family, or potential connections that you can cultivate when you move is something to also keep in mind.
Deux, trois l'autre bagay que m'te vle partager ensemble avec nous sur le na relation kay, qui est extrêmement important, c'est qui côté kay sa yi. Est-ce que, qui sa qui prend l'école yo? Est-ce que nous faisons recherche nous pour nous connaître comment crime est dans la zone nan? Qui ça qui gagne, qui genre de boutique, qui shop l'école, l'hôpital, la bibliothèque. OK? Tout ça, c'est des choses qui est extrêmement important. Communauté côté nous pas le vivre là. Bon, qui monde nous pas le vivre parce que ça vraiment vraiment important parce que des fois nous aller dans communauté côté que pour une raison pour l'autre tu pas accepter nous pour une raison pour l'autre. Alors, son comité que nous ne pouvons pas fonctionner vraiment, il faut que nous ayons ça en tête, nous. Est-ce que nous voulons faire partie de en subdivision côté de plusieurs cas ou bien est-ce que nous voulons carrer nous pour nous sous terre par nous? Est-ce que nous voulons acheter un terre, faire bâtir pour nous? Bon, c'est là ça n'a plus besoin de faire là, avec expertise et avec équipe, là, ou bâtir carré pour nous-mêmes. Ou du moins, est-ce que tout bagage ça pour nous considérer en pile? Gon l'autre cause qu'on s'appelle inondation, flooding zone. Gan pile moun fin ache kay, et puis c'est apotande, on la pi tombe, gen inondasyon, ba e pase, et pourtant qu'on pas de assurance pour inondasyon. Li ekstremement important pour qu'on zone nan, qui sa ki la dan, qui comprend qui sa ki sa. M'a vu souvent, ti di men, kote mwen te kon ya, m'pense que tout an mari m'touja di sa, gen lè te kon lanme lan zon nan. Parce que ten yo takou an sablanme, tout la kou nou takou sablanme, et gen paquet de l'eau, body of water everywhere. So, tout elle a dit, ah, c'est son de l'eau, nous étions là, nous pas connaître ça, c'est des informations que nous ou ka chercher qu'on est dans la zone, nan, aller dans les annales, à faire recherche dans la zone nan pour connaître qui ça qui était là, pour nous connaître avant que nous fassions gosser investissement ça pour acheter un caille.
So in summary, red flags versus green flags. So look at any cosmetic upgrades that are hiding potential issues.
Mhm.
You want to look at whether or not there's adequate ventilation in the house, any potential moisture issues, and last but not least, and this tends to get overlooked because not a lot of people know what to look for, but the quality of materials being used. Is it cheap material that they're using in the house? Is it quality? Is it a high end? So those are things to really think about when you're looking at a new place to live.
Autre chose, pour nous ta considérer, tant qu'on essaie de cosmétique, l'offre financière, ou est comme si, yo pas sur un coup de poudre sous lui, et puis, cap cache au bagay, faut nous garder sous ça tout. Ensuite, garder si nous entrer dans le cas là, ou de moisir, on essaie de bagay ça pour nous ver ça, et puis, comment l'air là circuler, et puis, matériel tout qui utilisé la cuisine, ou ka moyen, et comme ça, c'est un bout de bois, sous peser le propre la fond nan mon, pour nous considérer tout bagay ça, le nous a pas chez et tout.
So here are just a few examples, and these are extreme examples.
Mhm, mhm.
Again, a small hairline crack in the wall, it's not something to scream about just yet, but if you see it growing, then that's something of concern. You want to get an inspector or a professional in to get their thoughts. If you notice there is mold in the building, or is it condensation, which is these two images here, condensation and mold, that's a sign that there's excess moisture inside the house, and there's not a like good ventilation happening. So you really want to consider taking a look at that. If you're at a point where there's mold, just cleaning the mold is not going to solve it. You need to get to the root of what's leaking, what's causing the mold, and then solve that. That way, you're not harming yourself or others in the space that is embodied or that's living in there. Leaky faucets. Again, not the end of the world, but when you have a leaky faucet, you're just running up your bill, right? So you want to get that fixed, get that checked so that you can avoid damage over time, but also maintain um a livable water bill at the end of the day.
Mais il y a deux, trois images m'a présenté ensemble avec nous. Bien entendu, ça, c'est des cas extrêmes que vous voyez. Néanmoins, pour nous considérer. Si par exemple, nous entrons dans le cas, nous avons gossé, ça va mon crack, même mon salé, c'est juste un recueillier, c'est pas une petite fissure. C'est des embarras pour nous considérer questionner parce que les cas en fondation, cas en même, que ça a été, ou bien mieux en tes cas juste au moment à l'autre, comprendre, tomber sur nous. C'est à considérer. N'a regardé l'image à gauche, yo, c'est une fenêtre avec peut-être un réfrigérateur, par contre, qui s'allie. Côté nous, il y a une partie noire. Et puis, on a de l'eau qui était de mold. Définitivement, c'est à questionner parce que c'est que pas gain assez circulation air qui fait le câlin, qui fait tout mold ça arriver. C'est vrai, nous qu'à chercher par de fait, bah, la véli, mais c'est pas solutionner le problème. C'est pour aller en cause mode là pour nous solutionner ensuite pour nous connaître ça que lié pour et puis pour qu'à jouer un résultat si nous on tuyau capé des couler comprendre petit l'eau dip 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 c'est pas on bon signe que lié tout c'est en façon n'importe petit indice que nous chercher régler yo et puis régler yo à la source pour nous avoir une solution pour eux-mêmes.
As we wrap up, I did want to give you guys a few resources in the case that we're at a place where we're feeling inspired to make a change but don't know where to start. You can use resources such as I'm going to say home inspector being number one for those of us who have houses right now and can think of things that are concerning. Definitely go get a home inspector. Other people you can look at or reach out to are your realtors, your architects, engineers. Licensed contractors are also a good source of information. But if you have friends and family who's gone through a similar situation and they dealt with it adequately, get their thoughts, get their input on what to do.
Mais de ressources que bah mettre à disposition nous ou me penser nous qu'à suggérer à nous-mêmes pour nous qu'à consulter avant que nous t'achetons caille on inspecteur de maison nous t'a mettre en premier lieu parce que c'est eux-mêmes qui professionnels c'est eux-mêmes les yeux bon yo fait yo à l'école pour ça, yo connaît, yo ka wè exactement qui côté un problème ka yé et yo ka détecter le plus facile. Nous gen moun ki vend nous ka là, nous ka comprendre courtier parler ensemble avec nous, nous ka un architecte, nous ka parler ensemble avec lui, un ingénieur, nous parler ensemble avec lui et puis essayer de contracteur, connaît moun ka fait ti business. Nous gen moun la communauté nous qui compte ka yo pas dire ah madame, ça va bon non? Nous ka parler ensemble avec nous. Nos amis, famille, parce que y a des gens qui ont des yeux pour ça même. Yo ka parler que justement, il mieux dit, oh, mieux ça, on va pas d'elle. Oui, ouais, ils font bruit. Tout le monde sait, c'est des gens qui te ka aider nous, avant que nous achetions caille. Nous ka consulter eux, ka venir, et puis yo ka va aider nous pour nous ka faire un bon choix parce que acheter caille, c'est un plus gros investissement que nous ka fait dans la vie, non?
For those of us who are just curious and not ready to make the change yet, you could also find images online just to have like inspiration, vision boards, stuff like that. What you want your space to eventually become. If you want more information, a lot of states have rebates available for those who are looking to install solar panels or install insulation in the walls or go through window replacements. Take a look online to see what your state has to offer for that. There's definitely some federal grants and programs out there as well for people who are looking to own a home. I know for myself, I've been interested in a program for first-time home buyers. It's like a class or some sort of course that the state offers that will then help you in your search to buy your first home. Um, but if you're brainstorming repairs or building additions, you also need to look at the the building or zoning requirements for the area you live, because you would hate to start breaking down walls and they needed a permit before you started to do all that. So just make sure you get all your ducks in a row. and all the information you need before doing this, before doing any of that.
Gen des informasyon ki la, ki disponib en ligne, ke nou ka ale, nou ka gade, pou nou ka inspire nou pou informasyon, e gen de menm organizasyon ki ofri l'ajan, ki bay l'ajan, pou gen de program ki fet pou sa, ki pou e de kominote, nou ka cheke sou yo, paske yo disponib, nou ka ale lan kominote, lan munisipalite kote nrete, nou ka pou informasyon yo. Et surtout, moun, bon, m'a pas ajouté ça que Perla pas dit, moun qui était dans l'armée, il y a des rebates, des grades qui mettent à disposition yo, moun capable chekay en premier caillou priorité, il y a un pile avantage que bah tout bon Perla dit que le classe que prend pour ka connaît tout euh, euh, tout détail yo pour ka connaît avant que vous fait ça. Ensuite, une chose qui est importante, c'est la zone que vous parlez gen de kote ki permet ou fonse de bagay, gen de kote ki pa permet ou li ekstremement important pou konen ki so ka fe ou sa ou pa ka fe. Si par exemple ou di ou rive lon zon, di ok, mpre ale fe tel bagay tel jan, ansi nou komanse krasi, brise, pou te nou pa suppose fe. So, se jan de informasyon sa ou pou nou konen avan, pou nou asyure nou que prendre information, information c'est clé, information côté de parité, qui ça qui permis, qui ça qui pas permis, et puis après ça, on va connaître comment que nous continuer avec le cheminement pour acheter un cahier.
Now, all this being said, budget money plays a role here. So we want to be wise in how we think about what to do, right? So if we're at a place where we can renovate rather than relocate, consider that. If we're at a place where we're not even ready to do anything in the house just yet, but we want to think about future things, think about how to phase it out so that you incrementally make the changes in your house or in your space for that matter. So focus on the value and not on the trends. Don't do anything, don't rush into anything that you're not ready for. And that's something I do want to stress. Do your research, be prepared, and then as you go along the way, make wise decisions, both financially but also design wise too.
Très important, très extrêmement important, c'est l'argent. Parce que nous connaissons nous ka gen idée, mais si pas gen l'argent, il y a des débat qui peuvent pas fait. Par exemple, nous ka considérer est-ce que qu'on y a moins qu'à déplacer à la chambre cas ou bien petit comme qui là même dans la permettre moins juste font petit changement dans le cas là. On a pensé à ça. Ou du moins, eske mwen vle, mba konen nou, gon agrandi toalet mwen, ou bien fon ekstansyon lan ka la, ou du moins, eske se sa ke mwen gen la, mwen ka jist achete materyel ki de pi bon kalite pou an dan, mwen ka fel sa. So, konsidere ke vale de sa ke nou ka ofri tet nou an, l'ajan ke nou gen an poch nou, tan ke nou gen, men pa wè ke, oh, se sa ka fet kon ya, se sa ki de miz, ki de mfel pito. Non. Juste faire prendre des décisions qui sages, mais qui approprient tout avec l'argent que nous gagnons et ça que nous voulons accomplir.
And one thing I did want to mention is that I know 2 weeks ago we had a budget presentation by Shirley. So if there's anyone that needs a refresher, I know myself, I probably need to reach out to her for some tidbits. But yeah, if anyone on the call needed any sort of guidance in terms of budgeting, I think her presentation would be a great place to start as well.
Yo bagay ke mwen vle
Oops, sorry.
ajoute a nou men, mwen gen se mwen la, sa ve di se 2 mesdames yo ki bien chita, ki te fon prezentasyon kom pou nou budget, kom pou nou jere kob nou. Si nou bezon plus informasyon li la, li ka ede nou, parce que budget ekstremement important tout par rapport a sa ke nou vle akomplir. Ça veut dire que si nous avons besoin de plus d'informations, contactez-les, nous mettons contacter maman tout, et que nous avons besoin d'informations pour te aider nous dans ce sens.
So in closing, having a living space you desire is attainable. You don't want to rush into it, but you can definitely get good design in the space that you live. All right. So good design improves daily life and long-term outcomes. And so this whole presentation, I hope encourage you to live intentionally in your space. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get professional input. This is all just research for a place that you're going to eventually call home if you haven't already, right? So it could be anything from painting your wall one color to another color, or doing something major as adding an addition to your house. You always want to start with your research, your online, like just thinking it through before implementing it. And so last but not least, I did want to show this image at the bottom here. So if there is a certain quality you want to maintain, these three things will be impacted. And so if I want high quality, then obviously with high quality comes high cost. And it takes good quality takes time, right? So it's going to be a little bit longer. And depending on how large the project is, that would also impact the quality as well. So if you have a project in mind that is small in scope and you want good quality and you want it at a decent cost or budget wise, you're not really that flexible, then one of them has to kind of give way so that you can maintain that quality. But yeah, all in all, I hope this was enlightening, encouraging at least. But architecture is not just for architects, it's for anyone, it's for anybody. And yeah, I hope there's something here we'll be able to apply in our personal lives.
Ok, pour nous finir, gen deux, trois bagay que m'ta remè, que nous kembe lan tèt nou. Uh, quel que soit côté nous habité, hein, faut que son côté que nous senti nous à l'aise, qui attrayant, et que nous voulons le jeu que nous t'a voulu là. Ça veut dire jeu que nous t'a conceptualisé, parce que c'est la même vie, vous comprenez, matin, midi, soir, et parce que nous t'a aimé que nous avons une atmosphère qui est plaisante euh, pour se faire, pas hésiter à poser des questions, pas hésiter à chercher conseil que de professionnels et surtout penser à comment que nous allons achever, ça nous veut achever. Hein. Si nous regardons un triangle qui là, nous est que gain prix, temps, qualité en même temps, prix, temps et temps travail, hein, comment conceptualisation de travail là. Faut que nous considérions ça parce que si que nous besoin taptir qualité de notre travail, c'est pour sûr la coûter nous plus comme temps la paix et prend plus temps tout. Et gens que n'a conceptualisé la entrer en ligne de compte. Ça veut dire que dans quel que soit projet que nous pourrons aller entreprendre, penser à terme ça yo, et moi souhaiter que présentation ça si que nous ça nous soutient avec lui nous t'es qu'à comprendre que nous connaissons que le nous parle avant que nous après aller faire quel que soit ça que lié en termes de caille, pensez à ça. Ensuite, moi, maman me saute mettre dans chat là et adresse moi, hein, nous qu'à checker et puis nous-mêmes, moi-même, tout nous qu'à checker. Merci pour ton nous. Merci et pour connaître le moment côté. Si nous avons des questions, nous prêts pour nous répondre. Perla, I want to say thank you. Thank you to you.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. And now we are ready for the questions. We have Marie Janvier. Marie, nous prêts pour question là.
Should I stop sharing my screen?
Merci. Merci pour la présentation. Hein. Um,
You're welcome.
comme c'est peut-être qu'on aime toujours une question. But anyway, my question is, first of all, I want to say I live in, that's a nice presentation. And,
Thank you.
and also I live in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, so we are neighbors.
Yeah.
So my question is, I was talking to my son today because he had this church, he has a service on Zoom, but he lives in Glen Burnie. So
Okay.
then he has a coat on. I said, why you inside the house, you have your coat on? He said, because it's not cold, it's not warm enough, he's using heat pump. So do you think it's a good idea for somebody to buy a house, to look for a house that has a heat pump in for heating?
Well, I will give a
Là,
disclaimer that.
là, juste pour
Sir?
poser une question en
Uh-huh.
anglais.
Oh, sorry.
Marie dit que il t'a parlé avec petit aujourd'hui, hein, qu'il a Kylie, et puis qui dit que pour chauffer Kylie, la petite heat pump.
Yes.
Heat pump. Alors, Marie t'a même dit là, est-ce que c'est une bonne idée pour mon courage son Kylie, et puis pour chauffer, c'est heat pump que vous utilisez?
So the system that he's using isn't bad. My question would be, okay, well, how is the house constructed? Why is he still feeling cold if there is a heat pump at the house? So you can still have a heat pump in your house, but then there's like drafts coming in through your windows. Which means that it's not the heat pump that's the problem. It's the insulation around your windows or the insulation between your walls isn't enough to keep the heat inside of the house. So without having, I guess, a general or a larger idea of what's going on, I wouldn't be able to say exactly whether or not the heat pump is good. But a lot of houses do have heat pumps. A lot of projects that I've worked on have heat pumps. So it's not it's not atypical, you
Oh,
know. So it really just depends. Yeah, it really just depends.
all right.
C'est
Thank
pas forcément hit pop là, quoi que moi-même, bon, ça qui hit pop là, bon, c'est Pierre là où tu avais expliqué ça lié. C'est pas hit pop là qui forcément qui pas bon, c'est peut-être l'été qu'à garder. Est-ce que c'est insulation qu'à là? Est-ce que bon fenêtre qui vont petit tout qui l'ouvrir, la fenêtre, yo, la porte, yo, qui personne pas capable vraiment bon réponse parce que dans paquet monde li commun pour mon utiliser hit pump pour chauffer caillou. Pierre là, qu'est-ce qui hit pump là?
Heat pump is just another way of bringing, or basically, it's another system that you use in a building or in a house to bring in heat. So there's different ways on how, yeah, so there are different ways on how you can use certain systems to bring heat or cooling, heating or cooling inside your house. Heat pump's just one of those ways. It really varies.
OK. Merci. Nous gagnons
Merci.
Yeah.
Lillian qui dit great presentation and congrats to Perla and I said good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Marlène, et puis Hans Felix dit que it's very informative, the information that you just shared. Thank you. Marlène Turin.
Yes, thank you. Very good presentation. Well done, Perla, once more.
Thank
Um,
you.
I just wanted to highlight when you mentioned the financial aspect, um, the money capacity, if I can put it like that, which is very important, especially when you mention the location. Based on my personal experience and the experience of others in today's market, sometimes your budget will kind of restrain the location that you would love or whatever. Like you will end up buying something maybe not quite where you wanted, where you would want it to be, but because this is
Yeah.
where your budget could take you. Of course you don't want to go live in an unsafe environment, in a place where there's lots of crimes and things like that. But if it's decent, it might be a little bit further away, more in a rural location type of
Yeah.
thing, a little away from services, markets and stuff. So sometimes you have to make a you need to compromise. Am I living a little further away? I will have to commute a little more, but because this is where I can afford. So this is one of the reality I wanted to point out. um and also, we need, as Christians, we need to pray God when we want to make those big decisions as to buying a house. I know we know it, but I just wanted to highlight that, because sometimes you may not know everything about the location, but once you're there, you realize it was a blessing, because you
Yeah.
find out you may end up finding good neighbors, and I don't know, finding a good job not far and things like that. So by putting God first, we may end up loving a space that we didn't know much about. That's all I wanted
Yep.
to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
OK.
Thank you, Tati Marlin. And I also, oh, I'm sorry, Astrid.
Yes, juste pour résumer ça, Marlène partage ensemble avec nous. Des fois, nous avons intention, nous connaissons côté nous voulons aller, hein, mais l'argent nous pas arriver. Ça fait des fois, nous fait des compromis pour nous connaître que, bon, pour nous voulons aller dans telle zone, l'argent pas arriver, nous prendre décision, aller dans côté qui peut être plus loin que côté de Tavléa, nous conduit plus, mais un peu des fois, ça c'est opinion personnelle, pas mon expérience pas avec l'autre monde. Côté nous, cas indo privé, les cas en bénédiction, c'est une bénédiction qui était déguisée qu'une patrouille. Ça veut dire que si que avant, en tant que chrétien, nous tout comme ça, prier avant qu'on prenne aussi grande décision, bon Dieu a toujours qu'aimer nous parce que il y a des côtés, nous, si nous pas arriver, nous avons compromis parce que des fois nous avons un travail qui est plus près côté d'aller plus loin. Nous avons décidé d'aller un côté qui est plus ou moins rural, côté que nous pensons que nous pas contents ou bien, et pourtant, le nouvel environnement nous joue un bon voisinage et que nous sommes contents. Somebody said before I let you talk, says, great presentation, glad to have you as a resource for the future. That's Annie
Oh,
GB. Yes.
thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I did want to point out that the same mentality or the same parable that Jesus uses that he says he's the cornerstone, when he even talks about building a house on sand and versus rock, like those sort of things, yes, it's applicable to our spiritual lives, but even in our day-to-day lives, like you don't want to start off and build from a place that is unstable in and of itself. You want to make sure you have stable ground and then work your way to building whatever it is that you envision for yourself with God at the foundation, obviously, with Jesus at the word up. Yeah.
Un parabole qui dit pour nous bâtir sous roche qui solide là, au lieu sous sable mouvant, bien sûr, son les un aspect spirituel là-dedans, tout comme nous avons considéré l'un des tout de nous, parce que le n'a construit pour nous garder location, qui zone que lié, parce que nous avons appliqué à ça tout, pour nous connaître qui, qui côté nous allons arrêter. Ensuite, nous avons un président nous qui se mettait en adresse YouTube, côté que n'importe présentation dans le passé, yo là, yo disponible. Si nous abonnons nous, n'a pas toujours bien accès à eux-mêmes. Il est sur un chat room dans là.
Yeah. And I do want to say if there's anyone who had questions and wanted to reach out, you can always reach out to me. I'll do my best to give my input, but I'll never tell you something I don't know anything about. So if I don't know anything about it, I'll do my best to direct you to either a resource or another person who will be able to give you some sort of advice on that.
N'importe
Correct?
n'importe monde qui a des questions, pas hésiter. Contacter, m'a fait le mieux de mes possibilités pour me répondre. Et si je n'ai pas de réponse, m'a fait recherche pour me donner une réponse. Moi, je ne pas trop sûr que m'a prononcé non bien. L'Hélène ou l'Hélène. Nous avons l'Hélène ou l'Hélène.
Bonsoir.
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 Merci pour la présentation, hein. Nous fait
Je t'en
très bien.
prie.
Nous apprécions ça. Un petit commentaire moi gain, c'est toujours sur budget. Yon moun gen doit ap commencer penser à acheter yon kay, mais li gen doit pas nécessairement ça yo le dream home, ou gen doit penser à gen yon ça yo le yon starter home for beginners. You know, you just starting, ou kompren, ou essayer acheter un bagay ki nan budget ou, que budget ou capable afford, mais il pas nécessairement yon dream home. Mais kon sa tou, nou konen kay se investissement, ou gen do acheter un ti kay la, ou el pa paret un bagay extraordinaire, et pourtant, avec le temps, valeur capable augmenter, kounye a, ou gen do avin considérer après quelques années, ou penser à ça que nous relè dream home. C'est commentaire ça que m'te gen.
Nous avons un sage l'Hélène qui nous conseille. Côté que là, nous, après aller prendre initiative, ça pour acheter un cahier. Budget nous capable permettre nous acheter cahier de rêve nous avec bah non basement, 8 chambres à coucher, gondette, nous capable qu'on y a. Mais nous capable considérer nous capable on cahier pour commencer, on starter home et puis avec lui-même nous éventuellement n'avons acheté cahier rêve que nous avons gagné. Et pourtant, même la même idée, hein, nous avons un starter home qui, avec potentialité que nous avons à l'avenir, qui a juste ban nous des dividendes que nous pas qu'à penser même. Ça veut dire que kembe ça en tête nous, le n'a fait investissement ça pour nous connaître que si budget nous pas qu'à permettre nous aller haut, nous qu'à commencer quand même. But I do have a question, Perla. Um,
Mhm.
uh, Get des monde, yo la même idée budget, hein, yo besoin investir dans yon property. Yo
Yeah.
connaît que Kyla gen ti problème, par exemple, mold, ou bien, gen gen ti problème. Mais après que yo jwenn ou bien le yo bargain l'an prix avec realtor ou bien moun ka ven ka la, yo jwenn ni l'an prix réduit assez côté pour te ka investi lan kay lan et faire réparation et faire fon ti kob sou li. Et qui sont pensé, sont pensé, ou du moins, lan how far down can one, que on moun ka considérer mwen pou mpa investi kob mwen ou bien pou m'investi kob mwen.
It depends. If this is a, and if I'm understanding your question correctly, feel free if I'm not
Mhm,
answering it
mhm,
directly to, to help. But I think it depends. Like on one hand, I'm not mad at people who buy like the fixer-uppers just to fix it, but then sell or rent it out or give it to people so that they can start generating money. So
mhm,
that's all well and good. As long as it's a livable space and healthy, then that's fine. But if your idea is to just get money and not really do anything about it, then I probably would not even a probably, I would not suggest doing anything like that. But doing renovations or doing projects solely for investment, I don't see a problem with. I know, so like where we're at in society now, it's a bit of a touchy subject because now you get into the realm of gentrification or not in my backyard, those types of arguments.
mhm.
But solely for the purposes of investment, and you're looking to make your money without necessarily doing too much after fixing the home, I don't see a problem with
Okay. Yeah, that was, you answered well. Thank you. There is Monique has a question. She said, thank you, Perla. Great presentation. My
that.
house
You're
feels very
welcome.
drafty. Would you suggest replacing the windows or adding insulation?
Oh, wow. That's tough. I want to ask what year
She
was
needs a
your house built?
consultation, right? She needs a consultation?
Yeah, so I want to ask what year was your house built? Because if you did do the rebates, they would have someone come look at your house, tell you what type of windows you have, tell you what type of insulation you have, if any, and then they'll tell you which I guess which item would be the most important thing to deal with right now. So if you're feeling drafty, like you're feeling drafts in your house, my initial reaction just by that alone is okay, there's air coming through like your openings at your house. But beyond that, I wouldn't be able to say which one would be the better choice right
Uh,
now as an
if
immediate.
I may say something, the you
Ah,
said
yes.
the house was built in 1970.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably say both, to be honest. I'd probably say both.
Because
If you haven't had,
I had the energy people came. They said they checked, the house, so they checked upstairs.
yeah.
They said it was. I have enough insulation, but the walls are cold even when I
Mm,
have the
mm.
thermostats at like 72.
Yeah, okay. If they said that you have enough insulation, then
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really, okay, an effort not to get too nerdy, it doesn't really get to the real problem because you can have enough bad insulation, right? So it depends on the value, the R value, or how much thermal resistance your insulation has within your wall.
Okay.
But it's way easier to get your windows replaced than to put new insulation in your house because they would have to depending on the method that the people want to upgrade your insulation, they would have to take out what you have or find a way to add more to what you have so that your walls are a bit more insulated. Yeah, the windows would probably be the more immediate choice if you're looking to do something um, more wallet friendly, that's less invasive, if I would say. But again, this is
What,
just my take
what
as
about
you know.
if they just add the insulation, add insulation? You know how they don't have to break down the walls.
Oh, like and then add it to the
Uh-huh.
that actually could be a good idea too. That could be a good idea too. If you're at a crossroads with that, my my go-to would be, okay, what can I afford right now? If I could
Evidence?
afford that, they couldn't. Sorry?
No, go ahead. No, sorry.
Oh no, I said what can I afford right now? So if I could afford them installing insulation from the interior face, is that what you're talking about? They just add another layer of insulation at your wall and then add the drywall. I say, what can I do with that? But that approach, Monique, I'd probably give caution because now it's eating up the space of your house. Because now your walls are getting thicker, which means your
Yeah.
space is now getting a bit more tight. So just think about that if that's the idea. But if insulation, if you feel more comfortable including insulation in your house instead of replacing the windows, then yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Just be cautious with the space, and
Okay.
you're reducing the square footage of your rooms.
Thank you.
OK. Et
You're
juste
welcome.
avant que nous prenions Marie, ensuite, Monique m'a suggéré, ou c'est moi-même qui est moi qui démarcheuse.
Manager.
Oui, ou après, Perla, attendez, prochaine fois pour ça, pour avoir plus d'informations. And your favorite aunt, Perla told you, when will you be able to come to Canada when you have free time to come to Canada to help her? She needs
Oh,
renovation house.
oh,
See me
listen,
to
you can,
Marie-Jo, and then we'll take care of that.
She
yeah,
knows who is the
I knew
favorite. She knows the favorite.
Tessie Joseph, we could talk offline. I mean, I would love to go to Canada. Oh, actually, can we go like during the summer?
Yeah,
You
after
know, like
we'll
not,
talk about that. Don't talk here because the
yeah.
other aunt who thought they are the favorite would just
So now,
Well, no, yeah, yeah. Anytime when it's not winter in Canada, I'd be a bit more flexible and open to
amen for that.
right.
that.
OK, Marie-Janvier, ensuite c'est Madame Isaac. Marie?
Oui, c'est question ça me d'avoir posé si que s'il fait consulting, si que son moun besoin consulting si li ka vini la kay moun nan for consulting ou bien c'est firm nan pou yo rele kote
Oh,
la.
I would go to someone specifically geared to resident. Because if you're looking for residential, I would say go to someone specifically who work on residential houses.
Okay.
These the tidbits I'm giving here is solely based off like my studies, but for someone who's actually worked on, you know, residential houses for like their profession, I'd probably say go to them or a home inspector. Right now, I'm working more on the public side of
Mm-hmm.
things, but yeah, getting a home inspector, a residential home inspector would probably be a best path forward. And if you wanted my thoughts on certain things that they're saying, sure, I can chime in, but rely on the professional whose bread and butter is exactly that
Okay.
right now.
Thank you.
Ou konen pa we men maon yo, se men jen yo mwen. So, would you allow me, Perret? We're gonna get Madam Isaac, and then it's gonna be you. By the way, Perla, your other aunties are here, and they said, you know, you have many others, okay? Please, we're
Yeah.
gonna have them as well. We have Lelen. We're gonna have Madam Isaac and then Perret.
Perrette has her hands up long time,
I
so
didn't
he
see.
wants to go before me. That's okay.
All right, what could you decide? You know, it's brown and I couldn't, mba se se ton image lan mur tout, avec
Ou
tout bon.
raciste mwen.
Go ahead, Perrette. I can
Yeah,
ask my
Perret.
question.
No, that's okay. I'll do it last. I'll do it
Okay.
last.
All right.
Perla, it was so great, so good. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank you.
the information. I am not a first buyer. I bought a house already in the States. But now
Mhm.
I am venture to go to Haiti to build my own house.
Yes.
I don't I have the lot and I don't
Okay.
have the architect.
Okay.
And something we did not do sometimes as Haitian, we don't make a difference between both of them, between an
Mm.
architect and engineer. Can you before I continue with my question, can
Mm.
you give us the difference between the two, please?
Yeah. So it
Parce que
varies per.
tout pour comprendre, nous-mêmes
Oh,
haïtiens, tout ingénieur c'est architecte, ok? Nous juste mélanger yo. Qu'on y a, madame exactement qu'on bien avant qu'elle pose des questions, qui est attention pour la bâtir en Haïti, qui différence là, entre un architecte et un ingénieur?
So I'll start by what the definition is here in the States. So architects, we focus on the building as a whole. So everything from the exterior face to the systems inside, basically making it aligned so that it's a bit more comfortable for the people using the space. Engineers, on the other hand, they are the ones that focus on the systems itself. So a mechanical engineer would focus on how to mechanically um, provide air in your space and do stuff like that. A plumbing engineer would design how the plumbing lines will connect inside the space. And so here in the States, there are specific engineers for specific realms, and then the architect is essentially the head of that design team where we come together, we say this is what we want this building to be, how to feel, how to work, and the engineers will work with us to get that kind of sorted together. Now in Haiti, yes, those two are the same. So, and from my understanding, I think I'd be considered, mom, fact check me, but I think I'd be considered an engineer because, like you said, there isn't a clear delineation. Because an engineer can create buildings that look nice and feel good to be in, right? And that's not necessarily solely in Haiti, just in general. Like a structural engineer, for example, there are a lot of famous architects here who started in structural engineering, but because they understood how the building is able to support and stay like stand up and also had an eye, like a creative eye. They were able to design the space and design the structure to meet the needs of the user. So I don't know if that complicated things a little bit more, but really the architect basic level of definition, we make things look pretty and feel good. The engineers, they do the other thing. Architects and engineers don't really vibe that well, okay? But the engineers just if it works, then it's good. The architect's like, okay, it needs to work and look good, you know. So
okay. If I speak Earl, that will be okay for you to understand, or she
yeah,
has
yeah,
to
that's fine.
translate.
Yeah.
Fine? Okay, for Astrid m'a bon petit temps pour chita, pour pouvoir te répondre, m'a parle en créole. En Haïti, disons, dans mon esprit, my mind, m'te gen impression que c'est l'architecte qui fait le plan de la maison et que
Mhm.
ingénieur là, c'est lui qui en charge de la construction de la maison. Est-ce que c'est ça?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, not
Non.
well. That's not how I'm used to seeing things. The architect is the one who's both in charge of laying out the plan, but also the contractor is the one who's overseeing the construction happening. So I don't know if that's different in Haiti, but
I'm not sure. This is
here,
my
yeah.
first
I think what you
thought.
said,
Yes.
that's how it is in Haiti. Uh,
Okay, okay.
ingénieur li qui dessine, fait plan kay la. Et propose justice, et puis lui-même, un payer ingénieur architecte là, il fait
Voilà.
plan,
Mhm.
bâti, là, mais comme en disposition salle, yo, tout ça, architecte là, et puis ingénieur lui-même, il allait là, pour ça qui, image qui présentait à lui mettre une réalité, il travaille sur lui, et puis il y a monde, ça fait ensemble avec lui.
Avec builder.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exact.
Wow. Yeah, no, engineers, the engineers work for architects here.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
don't they don't do that over there. Or we don't do that here. So
Okay. So for me, I don't will, I will need both for Haiti. Is that Astrid?
Yes.
Aha.
um okay. Okay. Huh. Good to know. So here's the thing. I helped one of my friends like design a house in Haiti, but what was built was completely different from what I designed. So I'm like, what's going on? And it makes sense because now the person the person who was in Haiti thought they knew better and did something different than what I designed. So it makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. At least in context of what I experienced.
Et puis,
So,
on a Musi Michel Auba qui dit, nous n'avons pas de constructeur en Haïti. C'est comme Madame Isaac l'a dit, l'architecte fait le plan et l'ingénieur les calculs et le suivi de la construction.
Oh wow.
C'est
Okay.
différent, les différents de Haïti ici.
c'est ce que je vois. Parce que
Don't say, Jésus, that's how it used to be in Haiti. Yeah.
yeah. Bon,
Okay. Okay.
ma question.
Good to know.
Ma question now. Oh, ma question now. Uh-huh. Et est-ce que c'est un terrain acheté out of nowhere? C'est terrain vide. Il n'y a pas d'infrastructure, pas de rue, pas de rien qui fait.
Okay.
Est-ce que, et moi supposé demander le propriétaire, celui, moun qui vend mon terrain, est-ce que nous supposons demander le tracé et les rues d'abord pour infrastructure pour connaître côté devant qu'elle a placé, côté à côté qu'elle a placé, côté derrière qu'elle a placé, côté voisin ma pied, si ma face pour face, est-ce que exigence ça me supposé faire? Do you understand? So do I have to translate what
So
I'm
I'm
saying?
going to repeat what I think you're asking me. Are you asking me if you need to ask the person who sold you the land to
Yes,
give you ideas on how to lay out? I don't,
because there is
I
nothing
mean, if
there.
you,
It's empty land. There is
yeah.
il n'y a pas de tracé.
Oh, so
Il
he
n'y a
doesn't
pas de
have like
tracé, pas
a,
d'infrastructure. Il n'y a rien du tout. So this is what the advice I want from you. So
so
I
at
want to be
minimum,
here in March to
mhm.
go in Haiti. So I want to be sure what I'm going to ask him, what I want him to do for me to start, doing something with what I have.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how things are done in Haiti, but if this is the person who sold you the land and you're looking for information from them, at minimum, they need to give you the land information. So like the plot size, like how big is it?
Yes,
Um,
I'll do that.
in terms of acreage or square footage.
I have that. I have that.
Any Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah,
don't
I do.
do people in Haiti do surveys, like survey of the land? You know,
How do arpentage? Je ne sais
how
pas.
do I
How do you say that as in English?
uh,
Arpentage pour avoir la mesure, the measure de
okay, it sounds
how
like a
wide
survey.
or how long
That,
is
yeah, that is a survey. If,
Yeah.
that's
if,
Okay,
how
yeah.
they do.
So
if I may say something, here in Georgia,
mhm,
if we are buying a land, I know someone who bought a land, empty lot, just land. There were
Mhm,
trees and all that. It
mhm,
was the buyer's responsibility to even to cut down trees, even to trace
mhm.
where they want the road to be. That was their
Oh,
responsibility.
interesting.
Yes. That was their
Okay.
responsibility to, cut down trees. I mean, separate the space where they're gonna have, the front road and all that. So I would assume ça ta responsabilité pas, c'est pas eux-mêmes qui pour t'a fait ça pour, c'est ça me penser, mais ben, je ne suis
mhm,
pas trop sûre. Mais comme on qui
mhm.
dit là que
Did you
c'est autorité municipale qui fait ça, en Haïti, c'est la mairie qui est en charge du lotissement.
Non,
Mhm.
ça, moi, te voulais faire comprendre dans la réponse, ça, si vous permettez moi 2 secondes, c'est tout simplement l'heure où était dans
comme Haïti, moun yo, sans, ou ap gade, moun yo al construit Cana en série de zones qui pas ta supposé gen kay du tout. Qu'al fait de l'hôtesse, comme si qui construit n'importe comment. Mais par contre, si ou vin rete nan première fois dans zone nan, zone ou vin rete là dans yo bol, pas de ko gen ou pas de ko bagay, qu'on y a c'est ou même qui pral leader, ou quand même bay non ou yon rele Isaac tout de suite. Ou rele Louis Isaac, moun nan fait ça. Parce que m'gen un pile exemple côté Kayo, mon premier moun nan vin faire Kylie, li fin bâti et puis il fait route là. Qui fait tout l'autre monde qui vin faire, qui vin rete. Comment t'es rentré? Par qui machine ou t'es passé de qui route là? Qu'on y a pour tracer son route aller vers terre par là, c'est ou même qui doit faire.
Yes.
Et qu'on y a l'offre fait, qu'on y a tout l'autre monde qui vient rete yo, c'est leader zone nan carrément. Parce que tout le monde qui pral gagner sous côté yo, c'est yo même qui pral fait caille sous côté pour monter, comme côté face pour là, hein, c'est yo même qui vient faire. Mais parce que vient pas gagner, yon, comment on a dit, pas une loi spécifique sous bagay. Mais l'État toujours bon pour aller, puisque son nouvelle zone pour aller dans la municipalité, hein, aller côté maire, là, poser question. Al wè, si gen yon notaire dans zone nan tout mande des questions. Parce que deux fois tout terre on fin acheté, hein, est-ce que c'est un terre héritier lié, même si municipalité yo fin vend nous, gen deux fois fin pour un terre, étant que petit on notaire m'konne en pile fois, nous gen moun qui vin la kay lan, nan bureau papa moi qui gen problème parce que terre yo te fin vend nan, c'est pas terre qui te doué vendre parce que son terre héritier. Qui fait tout ça yo faut qu'on yo, mais qui côté out la soutien ouais à municipalité moi conseil m'de ka ba ou ouais
Yeah.
municipalité zone nan.
Ensuite, Hélène pensait parler avec un architecte, un ingénieur en Haïti. Yo même était
Yeah.
qu'à décider dans ce sens-là.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it sounds like Haiti has a lot more flexibility here. Because the way my process, if I had a plot of land, it would be completely different from what was mapped out just now. So probably lean towards people who are used to owning land and knowing what to do in Haiti. Because in here in the States, if I own a plot of land, I'm
Okay.
gonna hire someone to give me a survey. I'm gonna hire a geotech engineer to give me like what the soil is, give me the soil type, and then I'm gonna work with my structural engineer and all my other engineers on my team to come up with a design best fitting for that site. And it sounds like it's a little different from what you guys do in Haiti.
Okay. What we have in mind in that community, it's to have in that area, it's to have a community, living community. When I said pas gen marché, pas gen bagay, c'est une communauté un peu fermée, pas un gated communauté, mais plus ou moins un gated communauté, que c'est monde que nous connaît, c'est ça livlé. En fait, le propriétaire, c'est ça livlé, monde ni connaît, que la mette dans la communauté. Et ça, pour que ça me pose toute question, ça, c'est parce que est-ce que moi, par exemple, en tant qu'architecte, est-ce que je peux demander si je connais mesure terrain par rapport à un plan caille moi joindre ici, est-ce que ou quand même par un plan on photon caille moi joindre ici et puis me dit c'est pas Shirley non Perla, est-ce que ou font plan on caille comme ça pour moi me prend pile temps
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. That's doable. I mean, the only thing is I just for not like I'm gonna say liability, but I wouldn't want to copy and paste someone else's work because that's their work and that it goes into the whole law stuff and stuff like that. But if I was using it as inspiration, you know, and I wanted to cultivate it for you, then that's not a problem. Okay. I would just be working on the information you're giving me, to be honest. And so in terms of its orientation, like I would want to know the orientation, like where the sun's hitting, what's around, natural, all the nitty gritty stuff. But whatever it is that, like, if we're talking hypothetically, whatever it is that you have, I would just work with whatever you gave me and come up with something that you want to see for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Perrette,
Merci, merci. Ah, merci, Perla. Perla fait.
Welcome.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. You did a very good job. And
Thank you, mother.
ma question gen yo, comme si mpa pral pose vraiment parce que Madame Isaac gen même question ensemble avec moi. Parce que, les commentaires, madame ça a une question parce que les gens ont projet l'a fait, mais même, ça me débarqué la première question, c'était relation, ou bien différence qu'il y a entre ingénieur avec architecte, parce que nous, même le langage pas nous devons prendre une pour l'autre. So she already asked that and you already talk about it. Et différence là, ici, avec notre pays et la caille, non, c'est deux bagages différents. L'autre bagage que j'ai besoin de dire tout, c'est still en réponse avec Haïti. L'orgue Cairo Haïti avec l'orgue Cairo boy ici. Haïti, it's easy because you are talking about the building and the zoning thing. Gen de travail ou pas qu'à faire dans caille sous gon caille ou acheter caille là ou t'as remis faire réparation là dedans et ou connaît caille c'est pour lier. Si me saute Haïti, me connais me te gen caille Haïti et puis moi gagne n'importe réparation me besoin faire n'importe changement me besoin faire me dois juste entrer dans caille là me craser partie ça là me ranger li et puis me faire fleur là puis large parce que ça me dévle. But l'homme qui est dans le pays ici, tout dépend. Je ne sais pas si comme ça, si tout cas comme ça, mais tout dépend, il y a un travail qu'on fait dans le cas là, il faut qu'on prenne permission dans le bureau de l'État, responsable là, pour capable faire dire exactement pour faire qu'on qui sauve les faire pour bon approbation yo. Parce que pas toute bagaille toute réparation d'avoir fait dans le cas que il a pas accepté pour faire. Donc Jean Saï Haïti avec Jean Saï ici, c'est différent. Donc, les un peu frustrant si tu es habitué avec le système ça là, et puis tu es à l'aise là-dedans, et pour garder au choc, bon, ici, comprendre, on va faire le même bagaille, et puis, you mettez un barrière devant. Non, 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 non. You can do it like that. Well, c'est commentaire, moi, tu besoin de
Well,
faire.
I do want to say one thing about that. As frustrating as it is, there's a reason behind why certain things are the way it is here in the States because of life safety issues, right? So there are some height limitations you have on certain plots. For example, there's something called FAR, which is floor to area ratio. So as wide or well, I'm trying to summarize it where I mean, am I getting too nerdy? I probably should stop. But anyway, basically, there is a limitation, and there's a reasons for these limitations because of life safety issues in the past, or any issues that they experience along the way, so that they can better be, well, better fit, the community at large. So there are certain things where you're not allowed to pass or build after a certain height because it will block the sun of your neighboring lot, right? So there are reasons why there are limitations. Like, and another thing is like there are certain like you can't build after a certain distance because you might be over a utility line that's running underneath your site. So there's reasons for it. It's a little frustrating. And I can see how living in Haiti and having that freedom sounds great. It sounds great to me just hearing it. But but here it's a little bit more complex,
Yeah.
with a history tied to it.
Je connais nous pas encore vraiment
Nous
été.
gen
Hans te leve men.
yes, nous gen Hans Regis que nous apprenons.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make a statement. Me growing up in Haiti, watching Tonton Womia literally be the architect to the house.
Mm.
And it brought me back. I was saying that just like what was said earlier, there's a reason for actually having rules. Parce que là, nous, Haïti, Jean Caillot fait là, si tu as une structure qui te pi respectée, ou ba tap wè kom si gen e koto ap pase, you can't even really drive properly parce que se ou so a remis ka la tro fon nan wout la, ou bien gen de fwa ka la pa ba ou satisfaksyon ap chèche a, e pi e pa tout moun ki profesyonel ase, but au mwen isit la, le ou gen de permisyon, oblije a chèche de lisans, liye de ka la van pi bien, et puis tout gen de sekre ka la gen qui pas fait partie de plan. C'est sauf si tu as gen ka sa en bas contrat terre pau. then ou ka gen certain freedom, ça dépend de state là tout. So I think you pretty much covered everything, and it's so intuitive and informative. I
Oh,
appreciate you. Mbat même de kon te gen extended family Maryland, not de Glen Burnie, not
oh.
de Alexandria. I'm di, oh, is on me.
Are you in the DMV?
I used to be in the DMV. I went to
Oh, okay.
Washington Adventist University. And so
Oh
now we
wow,
are,
okay.
yeah, we are in Tampa, me and the wife. Say hi, baby. Not much on pizza, but we were listening, and I bid you all the best, and definitely like
Thank
if we
you.
have any friends who are looking for your expertise, definitely send your information pour nous ka toujours make
Yeah,
sure que nous connaissons nous gagnons comme référence.
Ok.
sounds good. Thank you, Hans.
Merci Hans. Mba konen se gen lot kesyon ankon, men sa m devle ajoute, men
An se petit Hugues Félix pou nou ka konen ki es li.
ok. C'est même si que, par exemple, nous habitons dans subdivision, côté moi était à ma habiter dans subdivision, grand pile bagay ou besoin d'une autorisation. À même petit crack, à moins que ça dans caillou. Quoi faire et même ba en dedans tout ou gen, comprendre ou gen limite, yo ba gen limite pour yo ba ou. So, j'en nous se dit là, li bien que règlement yo, loi yo en place pour une raison. Et malheureusement, je me mettais là, et c'est ça qui fait que les tremblements de terre l'ont passé à Haïti, nous, tout le monde savait qui était mort. Ensuite, au monde qui est à Haïti, qu'on y a, ouais, l'en ravine, monde bâti caille. Alors, l'en ravine, n'est pas de l'eau descend, comprendre, balayer tout ça qui est sous passage. Yo. So, ça veut dire, si nous avons une structure, bien, loi yo là, pas contre, loi yo là, mais c'est seulement, yo pas respecté, puisque nous pas un gouvernement, nous pas rentrer dans les détails politiques, qui fait que, des bandades ça qui arrivent, mais nous souhaitons que bon l'heure, n'a gagné Perla qui a descendu en Haïti en tant que ministre de, bah, on est non, et n'a bon poste ministre Perla pour qu'à réglementer bah, je t'ai supposé. All right. So, li 8h15. I don't know if we have other questions. Otherwise, we can end. I don't know if Perla has one last thing to say. By the way, thank you, Perla. And I echoed
Oh yeah,
everything
no
that
worries.
everybody says that, we were very blessed to have you. And please come back. Please come back.
Oh, thanks, guys. I did
Oh,
my
we have
best.
one,
Yeah.
Yuri. Yuri has a question. So we'll take Yuri. Go ahead, Yuri.
Non, mdap di na blage Perla nan na blage nan travaux public.
Ministre Travaux publics. OK. Ministre Travaux publics, Perla.
No, thank you. I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still growing,
Non, ba,
so
non,
at
non,
the
wap
same
get
time I'm giving advice, I also.
Blan te pou pe ya pranje, wap get anpwe. Pa pati go. So, nap ton nou.
Oh, okay.
All
All
right.
right, all right. Well,
Perla
thank you guys.
Perla have been working in the field for over 10 years now, right?
So, she's
Mom, you're
ready.
aging me. No, well, sure, yeah, yeah. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I graduated in 2015. Yeah,
11 years then. We're in
yeah.
26. Yes. All right. But thank you, Perla, for your time.
Okay.
Disponibilité ou partager connaissances ensemble avec nous. It was great. Everybody enjoys it. And please, as iPhone says it was a great presentation. She or he has learned a lot and remain blessed. So if you have one last word to say, we will hear it and then we will finish our meeting for tonight.
No, I mean, I think I said everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys for hearing me and dealing with, oh my gosh, thank you for teaching me about Shelve. I'm adding that to my rhetoric. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any more to say. But keep an eye out, I guess, for a potential website or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Actually, ignore that. Ignore that.
All
Thank you
right.
guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Directrice, nous va connaître second mot de la fin et puis on a fini.
Thank you. Merci Astrid, merci encore à Perla et merci à tout le monde qui était présent ensemble avec nous ce soir. N'a invité nous pour nous capables retourner samedi prochain si Dieu veut, côté n'a parler de nous connaissons une présentation qui fait sur communication déjà dans le passé, mais fois ça, c'est le ton qui fait la chanson. C'est le thème ça que nous allons débattre avec Marnel, Paul. Donc, nous invitons nous pour nous capables de venir ensemble avec nous. Et j'aime te mettre dans le chat là, invité nous à sign up pour YouTube page nous parce que chaque fois que nous faisons une présentation comme ça, nous record et puis poster les. Donc, si nous-mêmes, nous avons bagay, nous pas bien, nous arrivons en retard, ou bien nous avons besoin de retard, encore nous sommes capables de retourner là-dedans, ou bien nous sommes capables de partager avec l'autre monde que nous connaissons qui a bénéficié de lui. Donc, nous souhaitons, nous sommes capables de faire ça et continuer à supporter les sœurs Tabitha dans le ministère là, parce que faut que nous apprenions ensemble, faut que nous grandissions ensemble, faut que nous avancions ensemble en tant que communauté. Merci Astrid pour toute bonne volonté et puis présence qui est toujours là. Pas fait demander.
Antes de nous pour quitter contact information nous sur les réseaux sociaux. Yo.
Yeah, I'm going to send my website in the chat momentarily. And then I'll also send my Instagram. Please hold. But don't let me hold up the presentation.
OK. Nous tapons pour le moment, pour nous prier, pour nous finir pour un moment de révérence, pour nous dire, bon Dieu, merci. We are grateful to you, Father, for allowing us to spend this moment to learn on how we can improve ourselves. Bless each family represented here, and may the information that was received today will be served for us in the future. We magnify your name, we praise your name, and let it be that we can come back next week to learn a bit more. And all that will be to your glory. In Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
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 Perla, pour monde qui m'a des informations, Perla effectivement rentré information website li et so dans chat
Yeah,
là.
sorry. It looks like it's password protected. So I'm going to make it public. So if you see it private right now, just give it a day or two and they'll be live. It's also my
Alright.
portfolio, so I'm also it's a work in progress, but you'll